Let's do this. We are live. I'm doing a quick poll. Let's see, favorite. Let's see, what's your favorite concert of 2023? I know not everybody went to everything, but I'm gonna tell you what my favorite of 2023 is, and you can vote on this. All right, so the poll is out there. I'm gonna let everybody a minute, and my intention is to kind of have this be interactive. I don't want to just talk. I mean, I can talk, but I kind of like to interact with people, maybe get people's opinions. I know people aren't exactly on, waiting by their computers or their phones with breathless anticipation, waiting for me to come online. But we need to talk. We need to talk. Let's see. So the comments. Nate Gonzalez. Hey, what's up, man? He said, what are these things called? Concerts? Okay. This year has been a really interesting year. So this year, as you may know, I've done, less working in the movie business because of the current labor actions going on. So I had to pivot to live performances. And I think earlier in the year, I kind of made a pact with myself that I wanted to attend more concerts. So that's sort of, I guess, it's sort of a speak it into existence sort of thing. Because, wow. So yeah, when I think about it, one of my number ones is I've always wanted to see Janet live, Janet Jackson. And by pure happenstance, I ended up working on her concert during the loadout for her Together Again tour. Fabulous. And that was a really good experience. And as you may know, some of you out there, I picked up a job working for SoFi Stadium, but it was kind of a strategic move because I knew that Beyonce was going to be playing there. And the thing is, the weird thing about my relationship with Beyonce is that I'm not a beehive. Let me let this flame go. Playing overhead. Yeah, I'm not a person who is about this whole beehive or whatever. I just happen to be like, I think it wasn't until the tour that I with the Coachella event that is sort of the concert movie on Netflix, when I saw, because Beyonce doesn't tour much, and when she does, it's usually something that people talk about. So because I had a feeling, because I really wanted to go to the Coachella, and because I knew that was going to be special. And then when I saw it, I was like, oh my God! It wasn't just the music and everything. It was a the presentation. Now they're playing. Spirit Airlines. So it was the presentation that, the dancing and just, it was really, like I say, I'll admit, Beyonce is easy on the eyes, but it seems like she turned the corner and she started. It seems like her music kind of went more Afrocentric. She started doing, these things where she's releasing albums, full albums, and she's doing, she's really kind of in her own lane, doing her own thing. And as an artist, I kind of appreciate sort of the thinking outside the box and kind of doing things that other artists tend to copy. It's not just, locked in and just, and even at sort of the height of her success, she's still pushing herself and taking creative risks, which is something that you don't really see often in a lot of industries, both in the film industry and in other industries. She's actually taking creative risks even in success. So she's not she's not phoning it in when she, at this point in her career, she can do anything she wants. But so I kind of I was really interested, that kind of sparked my interest and made me want to see more of, kind of what she was doing. And then I will say that when I heard, okay, she's going on tour and she's doing this, the Renaissance tour, and I was like, okay. But like I say, I looked at the ticket prices and I was like, if you want to get a good seat, you're going to come out at least $1,200, $1,500. And I'm just like, all with due respect, there's very few artists who I would pay to see. I'm not paying that much money for any concert. I mean, the only, person who I would gladly pay a ridiculous amount of money to would be Michael Jackson or Prince, and both of them are no longer with us. And I would pay to go see Whitney in her prime, But now, Sade, I really wanted to see Sade when she was here in LA. I missed that one, but I would see Sade, and certain people like Beyonce is just, I find myself listening to certain songs I like. Some of my favorite songs she's done is Already, and what's that song, Ape Shit, and of course I listen to Jay-Z, and Story of OJ is one of my songs. 99 Problems is a song I like. Some of the female empowerment songs that I think Beyonce does. Who Runs the World, Formation. I mean, they're so well done, and and the swag is so, the style, and just the way, just the way things are done is something that I think is really interesting. And then I'm really into Afrofuturism. So the elements of this concert, there's a lot of sort of futuristic, there's definitely a lot of futuristic imagery, and I'll go into that in my description. But I ultimately, I figured it would be a long shot. So I'm gonna tell you how I saw it for free. It started as a long shot when I realized the concert was coming to SoFi. And I was kind of, because like I said, with the industry, if the industry was still, I would not have done this if I could take up a film job. I would be doing film, but there's nothing. Like, the industry is deader than dead right now. So I leaned into security because I've been doing security for a while. So I have a lot of experience doing security. So with that, I applied for a job at SoFi, which I got the interview. It wasn't too hard. I mean, I put in an application, and literally like the next day I got an email about an interview. So, so I was like, oh shit, okay. So, like I said, I printed a resume. I was professional. I dressed up. I was a professional. I took it seriously. And, they hired me. And then from there on, it wasn't an easy process. Like, it was weeks of training. Became a security operator. That's learning the way they do things. That's learning the stadium itself. And the first event that I worked on was WrestleMania 39. So, I did that, and then I'm going to hold for this airplane. Another airplane. Okay. And there it goes. So, as I said, let's see. So, I was like, so where I was like, okay, I became a security operator. So I learned the stadium, and SoFi Stadium is actually a really hyper modern stadium. It's the most modern stadium. It was only open seems like it was last year or year before last, where they had a Super Bowl. So it's a very, very modern stadium. It's a 24-hour operation. They never close, and so like I said, I took it seriously, and so I stayed on for WrestleMania. I stayed on for they had some soccer games. I stayed on for the start of the NFL season. We had the last big concert was Taylor Swift, and I was not, as you guys know, I was raving about Taylor Swift concert. I wasn't expecting Taylor Swift to be, well, she was very popular, but the concert really, I felt, delivered. And, coming from a lighting background, it made me appreciate production elements. And, yeah, when people are asked to pay these exorbitant ticket prices, the tickets themselves, you're paying for the parking and all that, you wonder, what these people are coming away with. And what I find, so often working these, live events right now, is that the fandom seems to be a representation of the sort of the artist and the best parts of what they like about a particular artist. I also worked Metallica. I'll get on finish. Another airplane. I'll wait. And Metallica is one of those bands. I only know like one song, Enter Sandman. And I like Metallica. I just, I have friends, who, that, went to the concert, and I enjoyed it. I thought Metallica was cool. Pantera, and and seeing the mosh pits, and just, just how the band was, and yeah, I respect Metallica. But I really, I don't know, something about, because there are a few artists that, are doing it in a way, Michael Jackson is probably, Michael Jackson is the only artist that I would, pay an exorbitant amount of money for good seats to go see live. If he was this, if I could have made This Is It, fly. If I could have made This Is It, I would have definitely saw Michael Jackson live for real. Fortunately, the King of Pop is no longer with us. Beyonce, there's a certain, like I say, it feels like, she's definitely grown on me. The singing, and what impressed, like I say, Taylor Swift impressed me with her stage presence. I was expecting Taylor Swift to be such a, to have so much charisma on stage. Just the singing, and I don't know if Taylor was lip singing. Don't know. But it was a lot of fun. Yeah, it felt like a lot of fun. But Taylor, just in my small criticism for Taylor Swift is that Taylor Swift is a 33-year-old woman, and I feel like she's playing to her crowd. Like it just feels like she knows a bunch of teenage girls are watching her, and I feel like it's an act, and that's fine. She knows her audience and she does what she does very well. But I feel like Beyonce doesn't feel like an act. It feels like she's where she is in her life, and I just feel a little bit more sincerity, just in the way that in her music, and just kind of where she is. She's not the same Destiny Child person. She's 42. She's acting. It feels like I don't know. I don't know. I just feel like there's a certain level of just it feels a little bit more authentic. Or I could be wrong. I don't know what these artists do in their free time, but it just feels like I really vibe with it, and it's just like, and it feels like the music seems a little bit more on the more mature side, like the things she's singing about, love and sex, and I wouldn't say gender equality, but it just feels like there's an acceptance of just of everything, and I like that vibe. So again, getting back on track as to how I so I got hired at SoFi, and it's crazy because leading up to the concert, I saw a couple of guys get let go, for various reasons, and I was like, damn, okay. I wasn't sure at some point if I was going to be around just to check to see the concert, but it worked out. So it, and like I say, and the thing is like, and just because you get a job working for the venue, that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be, on the floor. You're at a job, and you might be somewhere outside the stadium doing your job, and you won't even see the concert. Okay, let alone you might hear it. But I rolled the dice, and it rolled. Everything kind of just fell in my favor, and I was on the floor, up close, and I got a chance to not just check the concert out, but check out the whole atmosphere. Check out, when you're on the lower level, there's a different sort of pecking order. There's a lot more, people with influence, especially, the concert brought a lot of people in LA who are hustlers. Because in order to get into the building, you had to be some kind of hustler, or know somebody, or be affiliated with somebody who was some kind of hustler. I said it again. In order to be in the building in this kind of economy where everything's so expensive now, you had to be some kind of hustler. Yes, myself included. I am a hustler of some kind. And that, but it was worth. It was ultimately. It was very worth it, because I got a chance to see, this huge production. I got a chance to see, like, the woman can sing at a very high level. And by that, I mean, she could sing at a very high level. She's been doing this for, like, multiple shows. I don't know how she does it. But, yeah, when people say people are gifted and talented, I mean, shit, she's the real deal. I mean, like Taylor Swift, a lot of, charisma. But Beyonce was, like, something else. She, and it doesn't feel like becoming a parent and all that kind of softened her. It kind of, she's still that. She's still, what does she call herself, a 10? She's still a perfect 10. She looks good. She's on point. And I had to, seeing is believing. I was impressed. But what impressed me, so, let me talk about the concert now. The production. The production itself was, I've been seeing, like I say, you can see the concert online and, on YouTube. You can see the whole thing. I think what it boils down to is it became this experience. So, like, certain things grew out of this concert since it started. The whole everybody on mute. There's a part in the song where Beyonce is singing and she says everybody on mute, and it becomes this thing where everybody in the stadium goes silent until Beyonce starts singing again. And whether they follow the everybody on mute challenge is the success or failure, and people have gotten really passionate about this thing. And yeah, it was a unique thing. I've never seen this before, and it seemed to have grown organically, from just the concert itself. Another thing that was taken aback, that really got me is, like, it was like, certain songs, like, because I heard the Renaissance album, certain songs I heard, and the songs themselves, I was like, yeah, they're well done and they're good, but some of them don't have music videos yet. But when you see the concert, certain songs are presented, in a way where I'm like, oh fuck, that is a hit. So the song "Heated," where she's like, she has, the fans. She's like, she starts singing and she comes down with the fans and she's just, fierce, and my face card never declines, and fine. It is fucking lit. I don't know what to call it, but she just goes off, and she is just amazing. And then, so I watched this whole thing, and it was like, okay, it just got bigger and bigger, But in the LA, it was like they really emphasized. So they had the pyro and fireworks, and it was so cool. The fucking bass was fucking bomb. I mean, you could feel the bass reverberate through your soul. It was like, yeah, it was on point. The songs were presented really well. A lot of fog, a lot of atmospheric effects and fog, and a lot of people were smoking weed, man. It was blazed. Everyone was blazing. You walked it out, it was like a cloud of haze, like, and everybody was having a great time. So, and like I say, as a lighting person, the pixel mapping, and even the lights were custom. These lights were like silver. They were movers, and they were all silver. The LEDs were like really, really bright. Even had like sort of these, like laser effects that went along. There was like visual, cues, like, a little movie. So while I guess Beyonce was changing clothes, a movie or some video. It was like a music video, and then she'd come back, and it would be a whole other thing, and then, like, to touch on the Afrofuturism, it was futuristic. I think you all seen, like, there's these robotic arms. She does a song called Cozy, where it's like these two squares and she's dancing as these squares are moving. These robots are using fans. It was really cool. And it was like, again, the choreography, how that works with all of this was really, really cool. There's a sequence where, like, even she's wearing a dress. And see, the thing about that elevates this concert is there's a lot of shit that you haven't seen before, and I think that's what makes any concert stand out, is there's a lot of things that you haven't seen before. With Taylor Swift, there was these platforms, and these LED platforms and the stage, and it was a huge video wall. I mean, it was just like really well done, a lot of stuff, and it feels like she really relished in the sort of the disco ball, the chrome, the glittery themes and the look of everything. It just felt very, very elegant. I mean, it was really like you could see the money. Like, I was like, people. I mean, she's charged. The first thing people saw is they saw the ticket prices, but they knew they were getting something special with Beyonce, and people showed out. And it feels like people didn't feel like they got ripped off. They showed up, which is just amazing to me. It's like, people showed up and they bought a whole outfit just to wear for this one day. That Beyonce herself wasn't, she's not going to see this. And on top of that, everyone had a great time and they feel like they left with something. And Beyonce, she left it all on the floor. She didn't phone it in, it was really like, she, and I can only imagine, just behind the scenes, it's like, the technical crew, trying to keep up with her, with her demands and what the show was supposed to be, and work at a very high level. I mean, it was just impressive how everything was presented. So yeah, I would definitely say, like, I think my only small criticism is I felt like, having seen Taylor Swift, like, it just felt like it was just, I mean, it's different, but I feel like, I mean, unless you were like on the floor, it felt like the video wall was, not, it wasn't huge. And I feel like at the SoFi Stadium, they got a halo screen that wraps around the stadium, and I feel like the halo was utilized better because you could see the concert, but also look at the halo and see the concert on the inside and outside of the halo. And I feel like with Beyonce's, it was like there was like a small section, like a square section for the people who were sitting like literally off to the right of the stage, where they were kind of looking like behind. They were seeing Beyonce from behind. They were not seeing her from front. So I kind of felt like, yeah, but it just felt like, I don't know, it just felt weird, like why, just wonder why they presented it why they did it the way they did it, where it was like Taylor, it was like, oh, you weren't going to miss anything. It doesn't matter where you were sitting. And just considering you paid all that money, if you're somebody, coming to the stadium for the first time, you wouldn't really complain. But since I've been there and I've seen multiple shows, and what's interesting about seeing a show multiple times is like you realize how scripted it is. Like, first time it's like, oh yeah, she leaves time to, to do her song, interact with the audience, do a song, interact, and she does it at the same time. But you learn that it's all scripted because it was like there's so much show to get through. It's like she doesn't have the time to get thrown off. You know what I'm saying? With the dancing and the choreography and the musics, and like no. It's a show. Once it's on until it's until it's over. So those are some of the things that I kind of see, like, okay, even the interaction parts is scripted. Now let's see. So night one, DJ Khaled was, which was different because it's like what I noticed is like, with, I guess, with each stop in the city, it's, there's something a little bit different. But it seems like with LA, there's always, it just feels like such a high standard of entertainment out here in LA. So yeah, she brought on DJ Khaled, and you had all these guests, rappers come on, which was cool because he kept coming like another one. So you got Offset, Wiz Khalifa, 2Chainz, Lil Wayne. It was like fucking heavy hitters, right? Wait for this play. Wait for this airplane. There you go. So, yeah. So like I say, I would say that with the concerts, yeah. So yeah, DJ Khalid, and then so night one, DJ Khalid, and so Beyonce did her thing. I was just impressed, and then night two is when I got a little bit closer. I was, like I said, I was on the floor, seeing just the nuances and seeing like, oh shit, it's different up close. It's like the whole club renaissance, and then you realize, like, even if you paid all that money to be on the floor, it's kind of better to be off to the side, because it seems like the acoustics are a little better. But if you just don't know, but like I would say, like, sort of the left of the stage, maybe on the second level, is probably sort of the best place, because that little because there's the suites and then there's the seats, and it feels like you can see everything better from that level, because I think being up close is like, you would think but you're looking up at Beyonce, or you're kind of like, she's coming out on the catwalk, and you're looking, and she's performing, like, you're looking at her back. She's coming out, and you're like looking, and you're looking, she's doing her thing, and you got to look at the screen, but you paid all this money to be close, but she's not going to interact with you, because like I said, she got a lot of show to get through. So I would say, like, the Club Renaissance, there's no seats, you're standing, and the Beehive is like literally off to the right, like the right. She comes out the right, and they're like, but it's like, these are $2,000, $4,000 tickets, and I just feel like it wasn't worth it, and it just felt like you had a better time off to the side, because but to each his own, whatever. People got from it what they got from it. I'm just saying, as a more informed person, I would say the second level was probably the best place. Let me see. I'm gonna hope it's airplane. Okay, airplane. And I will say that, let's see. So yeah, off to the sides, we're probably, the suites and all that. I think, that was interesting. A lot of celebs. I mean, LA, a lot of celebs came out for Beyonce. And on the third night, the other queen, diva, Diana Ross, showed up. I wasn't expecting that. People with money, people who could afford to go 3 times to go see, to go see the show, which is like wild to me, because she's not singing different songs. The only thing she'll change is a different dress, but she's singing the same songs and doing the same things. Why do you need to go 3 times? I'll probably, maybe 2 times, but you need to go 3 times. I'm like, I can see it, but I get the whole support thing, but and I'm just like, it's it was cool, but I will say the energy, the energy, the costumes that these people that her fans were. It was just incredible. Like, they were bringing they're making these custom costumes, and they were showing up and showing out. But like I say, I thoroughly enjoyed, sort of like I said, I was pleasantly surprised by the presentation of certain songs. Certain songs that I didn't like, and the way they're presented, like Virgo's Groove. I was like, the whole, she comes in this fucking clam, like she looks like Venus, and it was just really amazing. Black Parade, she comes out in this Tesla. It looks like a tank or some kind, and she comes out, and and like I say, her daughter joins her on stage, and she's she's pretty impressive too. But she comes out on the stage on this thing. She's seated on top of it, and it's like literally a freaking parade. Like, I mean, you gotta give it up for the production. And then there's a song that she did with Meg Thee Stallion, and the thing is like as on hydraulics. That's like leaning, and it's like leaning, and she's like on this thing. I mean, it was fucking tight. I mean, they did that. It was fucking tight. It was cool. It was cool. One thing I noticed, like, that Janet did in her thing, that I think Beyonce, didn't do as well. If I'm to be a little bit of a critic, Janet never had like a microphone that she was holding. You know what I'm saying? Taylor had a microphone she was holding. Janet had like the earpiece type of mic, and she was just hitting that choreography. Like, Janet's choreography was really good. She may have, in her age, I love me some Janet, okay, love you, Janet, but it just felt like she's not like, Rhythm Nation, like hitting that, like she was hitting, like her choreography was so incredibly complicated, and she was hitting that in her prime. Janet Jackson. It just feels like with Beyonce, she's more of a singer, and she is. I mean, she's hitting choreography, but it ain't. But Janet was killing. Janet was Janet. Okay, that's what I love about Janet. Janet, and like, you can't mess with Janet in terms of the dancing and the footwork, and Janet was on a whole other level, because I mean, she had her brother, as an inspiration, and I just felt like that rubbed off on Janet. And in her prime, Janet was something. I was surprised at how short Janet was when I seen her in concert. I didn't realize, she's like 5'4". Beyonce is like, she's average height. Even being on the floor, to me, she looked kind of small, but go being up on the nosebleeds, she's like tiny. You can't see any. I mean, that's why you're looking at the video wall. That's my only criticism, is that if you're on the nosebleeds, she's tiny. And with Taylor Swift, same thing, but it just feels like the stage compared to Taylor was massive. Even with the WrestleMania, the ring was like really small compared to all the lighting and stuff like that around it, and the ramp that came through. It was an incredible, gargantuan. It felt epic, and I just felt like Janet felt more intimate because it was like video wall. Dancers, and she was just doing her thing. Beyonce, it was a whole lot of cool shit. Like, I mean, it's so much like, they had this horse, that, towards the end of the show, it's a sequence horse. And she gets on the thing, and the horse levitates, right? And then at some point, they lift Beyonce off the horse as if she's like flying. Like, what's the character from, like, the Phoenix from X-Men? She's flying, right? Well, she's on wires, of course. And, she's flying around the stage. She lands, and there's this like silver confetti that comes down. It is like, it's a spectacle. It was like, okay, and I was like, yeah, it was like, I mean, I had to give it to him, the ambition, the direction, it just felt like, it wasn't just the music, it was like the whole presentation of everything. And then, like I say, I loved the sort of the Coachella thing, with the, I've never seen that before. You had a whole band and they were playing her music, but it sounded like, sort of the HBCUs, and yeah, it was great. It was cool. See, that's what I'm saying is, like, I feel like I'm being entertained and educated at the same time. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the sort of the best type of entertainment, is that it educates you and entertains you. You kind of learn something that you didn't, that you're kind of coming away, with something, and at least, it just has you look at things differently. So yeah, I would say that. So, so that's pretty much what I got to say. So, I'm going to open it up to questions. I'm going to get up out of here. So, guys, got any questions for me or any comments about the concert that you want to say, or, yeah, I can't believe I pulled it off. I saw the concert for free, and I saw 3 days of it, and it was kind of a long shot, but yeah, I will pat myself on the back for that one, and that was cool. It was really fucking cool. I'm glad I did it. And I took some pictures, and life is about experiences. And sometimes some experiences are once in a lifetime. And life is to be lived. And I feel that, if there's something is that, tomorrow's never promised. You should go to that concert. You should, visit. Go see. I wouldn't say, have a plan. Don't kill yourself financially. But if there's a way you can, rig it where it can happen, fucking do it. Absolutely. Let's see. So it looks like Nate is the only person. He says, "Good for you, man. Way to evolve the work." Oh, thank you. So is anybody else out there? Is anybody else? All right, there's nobody. So I'm going to go ahead and dip out here. Everybody have a great rest of your day. And, so from here on out, I'm not sure what the next thing I'm going to podcast about, but I'm sure, usually when I do these things, it's usually something interesting, something cool, but I had to get on, because if I didn't come on and talk about it, if I did it like, because literally the concert was just yesterday, and so it's still kind of fresh in my mind. And like I say, I had time to really think about it and digest it. Yeah, I'm glad I went to the trouble, of seeing it, and and seeing, kind of just being in the moment. So yeah,